Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. We got a lesson today, or I should say a question that came into customer service from, I'll call him Joe P. And Joe has one quick line, and I'm going to read it exactly as it states. It starts off, it says, "This lesson sucks, as I am left-handed and usually hit a fade. If I aim left, I will always be in trouble." All right, and this came in from alignment spot is always left of your target. Okay, so that's a lesson where I talked about, somebody asked a question about alignment, or somehow I really got into alignment, which is we do in many cases. Almost any lesson that comes out of this, that we ever talk about anything, is with any problems, alignment always has to be one of the main culprits of an issue here, okay? Now, I think there's nothing to think. Joe came out and said he's left-handed, so he misunderstood this lesson. That's why it sucked for him big time. Okay. I mean, it was absolutely his misunderstanding of what I was talking about. Absolutely was just like taking a knife and stabbing himself in the heart. Okay. So the key is that Joe's left-handed. Now y'all know I'm right-handed, right? I'm right-eye dominant. All right, I play right-handed. My mind sees and thinks right-handed. And if I'm standing here and trying to hit golf balls and I'm trying to demonstrate, I only do it effectively and correctly right-handed. Now, I have a lot of times lefties call me in or righted and say, "Hey, Serge, man, you only talk right-handed." So I'm trying, if you notice, I try to talk more often, and I try to say things like trailing hand, backhand, upper hand, lower hand, or whatever. And many times I will say, this is for right-handers is right and left-handers is left, or whatever, something like that. And usually it's just the opposite. So this is where I think Joe got mixed up. I spoke from the right-handed position. The whole gist of this lesson was that most golfers, that lesson I talked about that Joe's referring to, is that we get hung up on the ball, on the club facing the ball, and we never pay attention to where our feet are at. We know they're supposed to be, for a right-handed golfer who stands on the left side of the ball, the original concept was when you stand here, the spot that I'm looking at down the ground always aims to the left, because once I'm standing here, I talked about how the eyes see a straight line from back here, but once you get by the ball and you have to turn your head, and if you're right eye dominant and your right eye is your trailing eye, if you were right-handed playing from the right, standing to the left of the ball, that the curve of the line is elliptically curved to left. And so that spot looks a little bit to the left over there by the time you're looking at it, and that's why one of the reasons. But the biggest reason is most golfers don't understand this concept. All of this is explained in the Ultimate Alignment video. Now, maybe I'm making a sleazy attempt to try to sell more Ultimate Alignment videos, but I'm going to tell you what, if you want to play golf, you've got to understand this principle. Because alignment is probably, without a doubt, as I say, 90 to 95% of all swing problems arise out of alignment. So you can have the best swing in the world, but if you can't aim, the ball's not going to go where you want it to go if you make great swings. You will have to make compensatory moves in the swing to hit it. So please, do yourself a favor, clear this up and get the Ultimate Alignment video. Many guys, many of the Sergites have got it. Go read about it with some of the things they said. They said it's the best work I've ever done. The two major premises, which is one I talked about with this feet left for right-handers, would be feet right for left-handers, right? Because if this is my aiming line and I'm a righty, I'm lined up parallel left. If this was my aiming line and I'm a lefty, I'm lined up parallel right of that line. This is where Joe got misunderstood or got spun out of understanding what was going on here. So this line, people just don't understand. They don't watch their toes. They walk in here. I've had people say, "Okay, when you put these clubs, I can practice with these on the ground. Whether I use little sticks or whatever. If you got even these sticks on the ground, if you got your foot right on it and you start swinging, every time you swing, it's going to move that stick, right? When your back foot comes up, right foot, back foot, right foot for a righty, left foot for a lefty, right? Lefty will have his foot coming up. If you do that, the stick's going to move. So I always tell folks, okay, if you're going to use sticks on the ground, you have to be at least 2 to 3 inches away from them so that the foot, when it rolls up, is not going to keep moving the stick. Because if it moves it and you don't check it out, eventually that stick could end up over there in 2 or 3 shots. And now you're aimed a mile to the left if you're a left-hander, a mile to the right if you're a right-hander. Okay? So Joe got spun around. Again, I'm sorry that happened. I'm going to try to be more diligent at talking right, left, or forward arm, trail arm, forward hand, trail arm, rear arm, hand, lower hand, upper hand. I'm going to try to keep making more references. And in that video that Joe talked about, I went in there and I checked it out, and at 10.37 on it, I did say right for righties or left for lefties, whatever it was. It was a statement there. I said it one time. Absolutely said it. So he missed that. So I'm not scolding Joe or anything. I'm just saying that somehow in the lesson he missed the point in that, and maybe it was the case. I didn't say left and rights or back and forwards enough. Okay, so I'm going to try to do a lot better job of doing that. All right, but yeah, if Joe is a lefty and he keeps getting his aimed and he keeps getting his toes aimed more to the left, he's aiming basically. If he's a baseball jockey at home plate, he's now taking himself from center field or left center. He's now way left center. Foul line, it might even be in the bleachers, and then therefore if he hits it dead straight, it's going in. If he starts it anywhere near there and slices, it's going off the planet. Okay, so absolutely he is correct. For him, that concept of lefts absolutely sucks and was terrible because he has to go more right, being a lefty. Pretty much you could say righties and lefties. And I tell you what, I've had many lefties come to me for a lesson, and when I start trying to talk left-hand to them, they say, stop. Now you're messing me up. My whole life has been based on flipping everything around. Just talk your righty and I got it. And so I've had that said to me more often than anything else. And I once had one of my members come to me, and I got the book by Bob Charles, great left-handed golfer from, I believe, New Zealand. It's either Australia or New Zealand, but I think it's New Zealand. And he said, "Hey, I'm a lefty. Can I know, do you have Bob Charles' book?" I said, "Yeah, of course I got it." So I let him borrow it. He brought it back to the States. He said, "Man, I can't read this book. It's got me all screwed up. Every time he says left and I'm thinking right, it's all backwards again." So he just gave me the book back, and he said, I tried to read it, and it was good. He's all okay, but he said I was getting flipped out because I've learned how to flip everything. All right? But I will do a better job for some of y'all that haven't learned to flip-flop yet on right and lefts. So again, yes, Joe, I want you to know, when you didn't catch on about flipping it, this lesson was awful for you. Okay? So, but if you would have taken the left to right, it's perfect. So if you get a chance, and if you have that one, go back and look at it, and wherever I say left with the toes and everything else, you go right, then you got a great golf lesson. All right, so again, my apologies, and I will keep trying to do a better job of at least a few more times when I'm talking left and rights and everything else to at least keep clarifying that in this case, right-handers will have their toes, they got to be parallel left, and left-handers will have to have their toes parallel right. And if I happen to just mess up one time, or every now and then could happen, I'll reverse it. Just catch me but change it in your mind, okay? And you catch me, change it in your mind. So again, this really is a great letter from Joe, because again, it's just kind of like punching me right in the nose and reminding me that I need to make sure I stay clear, especially when I'm just talking about things that rights and lefts, up, forward and back, and get into that to clarify a little bit more often. So again, the thing about it is that I still in many cases talk right-handed, as I said, because I am right-handed. That's the only way I see it, I think it, I see it, feel it, everything. But Wikipedia, I looked up a whole bunch of stuff in Wikipedia, and when you average out all the studies, they say at max 10% of the people in the world are left-handed. So that's still a good pretty amount of number of people, but 90% are right-handed. And there's other people that some are ambidextrous. Ambidextrous can do it both ways, but even ambidextrous people tend to be more dominant one-sided, they say, in those things. My daughter is ambidextrous. She can hit a golf ball right and left-handed, tennis right and left-handed, but she basically does more things. She writes and she eats left-handed, so she is predominantly more left-handed. But again, Serge will try to do a better job at clarifying when we get into some of these really ticklish points about, like, parallel left, parallel right, that that whatever side of the ball is, you're going to be parallel left to the target or parallel right. Just remember, right-handers are parallel left, left-handers are parallel right. It's the exact opposite. Okay? All right? Well, again, thanks for sending in the letter. Joe, thanks for being so punching me in the nose with those 3 opening words. And it caught my attention, and it came to the point where I needed to clarify this thing, as well as, again, make my commitment to all of you that I'm going to try to be more clear and spread this out a little bit more often. So again, thank you so much. Get back, watch that lesson, and And if you really want, and alignment so critical, 90 to 95% of all swing problems arise out of alignment. So the other surgism is don't alignment. Don't play golf without it. Get the Ultimate Alignment video. It'll be the best thing you do if you to get your swing, to get your setup correct, so you can make good swings and hit the ball solid and square to where you want it to go. Your intended target, not being misaligned and hitting it to your, excuse me, I said that backwards. We tend to hit the ball to our actual target with bad alignment when you hit good shots to a wrong place rather than your intended target. I got those backwards. So if you want your actual target to end up being the intended target where the ball's going where you wanted it to go, you got to have good alignment. Ultimate Alignment video will help you. All right. Again, that's it for the search for today. And hopefully, I'm going to raise my right hand and swear. I'm going to try to do a better job at making sure that I keep these things clear when we're talking right and left and things. Okay. Well, that's it for today, and I'll be talking with you all again soon.